TSN Network, presented by The Brick. Vidal Hazelton being looked at, obviously going through concussion protocol on the sideline. Marco Briette as well. We'll try to get an update. Matthew Shinetti on the sidelines with us tonight. Ricky Ray, far side. And Kenny Shaw bringing it in. Close to the first down marker. 17 catches, make that 18 on the season now for Shaw, still without a touchdown yet.
Kenny Shaw's done a nice job given the opportunity here. A guy who played only a couple of games for the Argos last season, but he's had 2 games thus far of 7 catches. Season opener against Hamilton, 7 for 109. Last week against Ottawa, 7 for 94.
Obviously, Vidal Hazelton's all right. He's going to come back to the sideline, though. They'll substitute him soon, though. It's third and short.
Yeah, Hazelton, because they brought out medical attention, he's got to wait 3 plays. Good to see him back in the lineup. The Argos, like the Alouettes, have been dealing with so many injuries in that receiving corps.
So this is 3rd again and inches. Last time the Argos barely made it. They bring out Cody Fiardo, their 3rd-string quarterback out of Nevada. Fiardo had a touchdown in their last game against Ottawa. Fiardo goes right side. It's a hit from Chip Cox, but first down Toronto. Under 4 minutes to go here in this first quarter.
And I like the play call here again. With the troubles that a lot of teams have been having in the short yardage situations, you don't want to be too predictable. You don't want it to always be that A-gap plunge in the quarterback sneak. Every so often, mix it up, attack the outsides like that, loosen up the defense a little bit, force them to defend every gap, not just pinch to the A-gaps.
Ricky Ray returns, 10th play of the drive. Stands in, another check down here, and a penalty flag as well. Talked about that 3rd down play. Remember when it was, well, I was going to say automatic, but maybe semi-automatic. Now, it's not so automatic anymore.
No, it sure isn't. And you've got to be creative offensively, obviously, to find ways to get it done. We'll keep an eye here on Vidal Hazelton on the outside.
Illegal contact. Montreal number 16. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Tom Valesi's our referee tonight. So illegal contact. He can only make contact within the 5-yard area. And then after that, anything else is called. Ethan Davis or Troy Trojan. Guilty party that time. Getting close to that red zone. The area between the 20-yard line and the goal line. The Argos have been very efficient in the red zone so far early in the season. They've got to get to that red zone, though. Brandon Whitaker only a couple yards, so they're going to be throwing this time. 2nd down and 8 to go here. Trying to match Montreal, who had that early touchdown. Both of these teams have been slow starters. Again, early in the season, it's tough to read into numbers and stats early on because they get a little skewed. Still, though, the trend has been for both teams to come out of the gate a little slowly. Look out, Ricky Ray is going down. Javon Johnson on the blitz. Free ride to the quarterback. The first sack of the ball game.
You know, in Noel Thorpe's defense, everybody's going to get a chance to rush. This time it's the halfback, Javon Johnson. Creeping up to time it. Hits it on the run. So the running back, Brandon Whitaker, pinched down inside on that one as it looked like there was a threat coming off the tackle.
Lirim Hajrullahu puts this up, and he's been almost automatic this season, but misses it. And Steph Logan may have thought a little bit better about taking up a knee and giving up a single point. A long field now for Montreal. Game began. Love in the air. Nick Lewis, Jim Pop. Little saltier, however, earlier in the week. Let's go to Matthew Shinetti.
Yeah, I'm sure there were a couple words that you could use beyond salty, Rod, given I was in that locker room last week and asked Nick Lewis a question about his leadership, and then he went off on a verbal tirade. But the thing is, this week during practice, he said he had a great week, and coaches and players are coming up to him and saying, we didn't have a problem with the content, but the delivery. That's why Lewis got fined. Lewis doesn't necessarily regret anything he said. He's getting a good reaction from his teammates, and you could see before the game that he was going along the sideline saying, guys, let's set the tone. It's our job to set the tone. No colorful language, obviously, but Lewis says he'll do that. That's what he thinks his job is. And just to add on, Marc-Olivier Brouillette, after seeing a video of his hit, went to the Owls locker room, guys.
All right, thank you, Matthew. Yes. Kind of doing an Andrew Dice Clay impression earlier this week was Nick Lewis, but I'll tell you one thing. Heart's on his sleeve, a lot of passion, and this guy hates to lose.
I think if you accept losing, if you accept not being able to go out and move the ball, and you accept being less of being inferior to other teams, and that's wrong. And I've always wanted to win. I've always wanted to be known as a winner. And for a large part of my career, we won a lot of games. And I just trying to bring the same attitude, bring the same approach, and just let people know it's not good enough.
Well, Nick Lewis is a two-time Grey Cup champion, one of the greatest receivers in CFL history for a reason. You saw Duron Carter, that ball was right into the sun there, and I think it might have been a little low anyways, but now Montreal has to boot it away, and Toronto could get very good field position here.
Well, and this goes back to the decision by Steph Logan after the missed field goal to bring it out rather than giving up the point. It's too much of a field position game to take that risk.
Well, Boris Beatty has a big foot. Will he give up 2 or will he boot it out? He is going to kick it, and it's with the wind. High floater. Larry Taylor trying to get it outside. Now comes back, reverses field. Taylor now shimmies up near the midfield stripe. Well, we heard about Nick Lewis and what he had to say, and his coach said he had to find him.
Nick's a great leader. He has since the day we've had him. He's very passionate. I don't want that to go away. I want guys to have passion. I want guys to be turbulent at times. I want guys that people fear on the field at times, you know, how they play. That's part of the game. You know, you have characters in your room and how it's delivered, how it does. But I know Nick Lewis on a daily basis wants to do extremely well. He wants his team to do well. He wants to see his teammates do well. For Nick's sake, let alone our organization or the league's, you know, look is, you know, curb the language. You know, that was my message. You know, it's one thing to be passionate, and it's another thing how you come across.
Well, again, it had to do with the language, and Nick Lewis being a passionate guy, and you don't want kids to hear that kind of language, or anybody else for that matter, or my grandmother, parents. But at the same time, Jim Pop's been busy finding players in Montreal this season. It's been that kind of year, and already some adversity as they try to dig out on the field and off. They certainly have the talent. Trying to get a win here tonight in Toronto and spoil the Argos party again. That's 1 quarter down, and the Owls off to a good start. Steph Logan, turnover that turned into a touchdown thanks to Duron Carter. It's tailgating tonight, Monday Night Football. Stay with us. Second quarter straight up. The Toronto Argonauts offense right now not being able to get going. They haven't scored points in their last 2 quarters. The Montreal Alouettes also haven't given up points in their last 2 quarters. Yeah, well, Montreal is a team that you know is going to lean on that defense a little bit, even when they do have all their horses on the offensive side of the football. Their D is their identity. Their D created a turnover tonight that put them in position to get this lead. Talk a little bit, Dwayne, about what the Argos are facing here tonight. And it's early in the season, and I think panic's a little bit too strong a word, but at some point you'd like to get a W at home, find a way to win in this stadium, like you said, that they're not really used to in the first place. Yeah, and as much as anything, you just don't want it to become something that people spend their time talking about, or that it's anything that the players worry about. You just kind of want to get that monkey off your back so you can go about your business. Ray's got lots of time now. That pocket closes on the far side. Now for a first down is newcomer in his first CFL game tonight, Devin Wiley. replaces Torrey Gurley, the injured Torrey Gurley, in that Argo lineup.
And keep an eye here on Anthony Coombs. It's a great job standing up Bear Woods at the line of scrimmage. Coombs usually in at slot, but he'll get his reps at running back over the course of the ball game.
Another plunge here by Ricky Ray to get the first down. Might see a little more from Devin Wiley here tonight as well, number 11. Of Fresno State, guy who spent time in the NFL, a number of teams, and is a former draft pick of the Kansas City Chiefs. A lot of comparisons have been drawn to Weston Dressler, the Winnipeg Blue Bomber, former rider, same kind of stature, same kind of player. But Wiley does play the wide out. Ray on the roll now, delivers. Hazelton again, and Vidal Hazelton back in the ball game after taking that hellacious hit earlier.
And the Alouettes need a little better communication up in that defensive front. Watch the fullback. Alex Dupuis is going to motion down and crack the defensive end in this case. He needs somebody making that call to him to let him know that block is coming from the outside. So he can fight, he can adjust his alignment to get outside, keep contained, not let Ricky Ray get on the run like that.
Talked about the Alouettes. They've only given up 1 point in first quarters all year. Ricky Ray able to chuck that out to Andre Dury somehow. Dury left side and is brought down in a broken play. Ricky Ray loses the ball and is then able to throw up a prayer really for Andre Dury. Fortunate that nobody was out there.
Yeah, a little bit of a leap of faith. He knows where he wants to go with this football, and that's to Dury. You saw Ricky Ray take a little bit of a peek just before he bent down to pick up the ball. Knew at that moment that there was some room around Dury, that if he could just get it out there, there was going to be a chance.
Another second down here, important one for the Argos. Early second quarter here, trying to put some points on the board. Liram Hairolahu missing a field goal earlier. Here comes that heat again. Ray goes end zone, and it's a touchdown for Kenny Shaw. His first. Wide open is Kenny Shaw. First CFL major.
Kenny Shaw continues to take advantage of the opportunity with which he has been presented. Argos spread things out, 3 verticals here.
What?
7 plays, 55 yards. Took 3 minutes off the board and converted by Liram Hairolahu. So now we're back to a 1-point game, and Ricky Ray stands in, delivers, and moves up the Argos all-time. Ricky Ray north of the border.
Well, and I suspect that the Toronto Argonauts are taking advantage of the fact that Marco Barrett is out at free safety. The rookie Dominic Termanson is in there. He's coming down cover 0. He's going to take a guy man-to-man. He ends up with a little bit of confusion. He's going towards Anthony Coombs, the number 2 receiver. But when those receivers cross the line of scrimmage, Kenny Shaw ends up as the 3 guy. That's his guy. Shaw beats him across his face. Ricky Ray spots it and puts the ball in the air.
Argos now 8 of 9 from the red zone in the early season. Very effective. So is this guy, Steph Logan. High steps now. Logan now tripped up near the 42-yard line, and a penalty flag that flew late. Well, Ricky Ray, we talked about moving up that all-time list for Argo quarterbacks. Conridge Holloway, all-time 98 touchdown passes. Ricky Ray passes Damon Allen. Guess who's in the house?
Yeah, there's Damon. You see it.
And there's Peter MacKay, former defense minister in Canada.
Tripping.
Guy
Toronto
talking
number
offense
70.
and a guy talking
10-yard
defense
penalty.
I
there.
think so.
First down.
Maybe they're talking American politics, because they could be talking all night.
And watch here for the kicker, Liram Hairolahu. Using his leg for more than just kicking, apparently.
Kevin Glenn now back at it. Two veteran quarterbacks here tonight. Nick Lewis's first touch. Flag flew on the far side. You look at what Kevin Glenn and what Ricky Ray have done through the years, both in the top 10, both veteran quarterbacks in their 30s. Ricky is 36, Kevin is 37. The only difference is Kevin Glenn has never won the Grey Cup.
After review by the video official, there's no flag on the play.
So I suspect the flag was initially thrown with the belief that there was a block that came too early, or an illegal man downfield.
Ricky 102, 92 and 1 lifetime. There's the all-time passing leader in CFL history, Anthony Calvillo, the offensive coordinator now. Legend to coach. Kevin Glenn 92, 91 and 1. 50-50 quarterback through the years. Brandon Rutley. Keon Raymond got to him. And it looks like it will be a first down. It is down to the 48-yard line. Both offenses now gaining some traction here in this game after slow, cautious starts.
A nice effort by Rutley there after the catch. Much like we talked about with the Argo offense earlier, the check down was the only option there. It's only a 3-man rush. 9 people dropping in coverage.
Logan. Rare handoff for Steph Logan out of the backfield. Something they want to try to establish. And again, we have some extracurriculars, and we also have an injury back near the 34-yard line.
Matt Black, who's making the start at free safety in place of an injured Jermaine Gabriel.
Toronto native Matt Black, veteran with the Argos. This could be costly for Toronto if he is out for any stretch.
Black went down a few yards behind where the tackle was made, behind where all the traffic was.
Didn't look like there was any collision of any sort. We'll have to see. 10:27 to go before halftime. 1-point ball game. Monday Night Football for the boys in the studio. Working some Monday night tonight at the half. Rod, Schultze, Milton, Matty. Black getting his neck or shoulder area worked on.
It may just be a burner type situation.
Glenn marching the football here. Once again, they utilize Rutley out of the backfield, and he scraps for more yardage on that far sideline. Eventually knocked out. A bounds by Keon Raymond.
Brandon Rutley is a guy who I've always liked as a receiver out of the backfield, and you can see here why, as he does a great job making people miss in a relatively small space.
Another 1st and 10 for the Alouettes. Team that came into tonight last in the CFL in points scored in most offensive categories. Now Duron Carter trying to slash outside and straight arming a couple of Argos. They have picked up 4 or 5 yards on the play. Of course, Duron Carter had some issues as well with the Alouettes in their game against Ottawa, and head coach Rick Campbell, and waiting appeal on a suspension levied by Commissioner Jeff Orich and the CFL. Son of Chris Carter, of course, the Pro Football Hall of Famer. 2nd and 5. Glenn now stands in, pump fake, and gives it off. Maybe a couple yards, but it's going to be short of a first down.
It came off looking like a screen, but I'm not sure that's the way it was intended. Nick Lewis was part of the protection, essentially aligning as a fullback in the backfield, and picked up his guy, but linebacker slipped off to the inside. So Kevin Glenn just dished it off to Lewis, who was left standing there.
Boris Beattie 0 for 1 tonight. 6 of 10 on the season. They get 5 of 10 on the season, just 50%. And it's, again, right now, Boris Beattie just can't find it. 5 for 11, 90% last year. Well, busy Argo training staff here tonight on that sideline. Let's go down to Matthew Shinetti.
Absolutely, Rod. You see Vidal Hazelton behind me. He went ahead, came off the field a little while ago, went right to the training table, took his shoulder pads off, and the staff immediately looked at his back, around his ribs, the back of his ribs. No indication if that's any connection to the hit he took.